Good afternoon, Wrestling Inc. Welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily. It's me, your managing editor of WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman, joined here as I am every Tuesday to get tickled, to talk the wonderful world of professional wrestling. It's our great friend, the Tickle Master from Second City, Chicago, EJ Cameron. EJ, welcome back.
Thank you for having me back. Yes, the Tickle Master. Didn't really get over in the indies, but we'll circle back.
You are the feather tip on the bottom of my foot, EJ.
Thank you. Yes.
The Tickle Master. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with
the
this.
biggest feather. I'm like, haha, this is ostrich.
It would be a big ostrich feather that you would
It has to be.
100%. With like
either ostrich or something endangered.
Sure. Yeah. You tie him down and tickle him, but it'd be like a funny rope, like, not maybe like a jump rope. Is that fun? I don't know.
We'll see. I'm going to Google, what is fun rope? Oh, nerds rope. Yes.
Dude, I was thinking Twizzlers a second use. I was like, what is a fun rope? Well, that's a Twizzler dipped in nerds because YOLO America. Hey, we're going to do a wrestling show today. It's going to be a great wrestling show. We're going to talk all the big news the past 24 hours. You can jump in the comment section wherever you're at to chime along in. Talk with us as we go along like Jay Flame. Yerp. Happy Tuesday, everyone.
Yerp.
There it is. And we got Azel, Antonio, Leo. A lot of great folks here in the comment section just saying hello where they're at from the world. Looks like we got people from the center of the U.S., West Coast, and beyond listening in today. And if you want to just tune in ever to the live portion, if you're used to listening to an audio, we go live Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Wrestling Inc.'s YouTube, Twitch, all the channels. It's free. You can come over, hang out, leave a comment, be like the cool kids. At the end of today's show, after the news for everybody, we're going to dive into the mailbag, and we're going to look at Jon Moxley coming back to AEW. Spoiler alert, what you want to see him do, who you want to see him feud with. So we're going to take a little more time than usual in the mailbag today as we just kind of look ahead to Dynamite tomorrow night, EJ.
Can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well,
I voted.
Yeah, I voted too. I have opinions on this one. So without further ado, we got no interview here today. We got, I think, interviews the rest of the week on all the other days, but we'll see how it goes. Let's get to it. News you can use, news that'll leave a bruise. And we're going to start with a story from the Wrestling Observer saying no plans for a title versus title match between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, at least not at WrestleMania. Instead, they've done a tease recently about it because they both just happen to have titles at the moment. Therefore, it made sense. But, it would look like at the Rumble, maybe in Saudi Arabia at the Elimination Chamber, one of these men will somehow have to lose their title. What are your thoughts on that?
What is it, the WrestleMania Chamber? Now they're changing it to or something?
They announced it as the Elimination Chamber in Saudi.
Okay.
They went the distance, baby,
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's what I think, because I think there was a little Easter egg in Seth Rollins' promo last night. He said that if he wins, that blue title will be switching red and it will be on SmackDown. And we no longer have to deal with Lesnar or Lashley or something. And I was like, I can see that. I can see Roman losing it. He's held it for God knows how long right now. Somebody can figure that out and put it in the comments.
Sure.
But he's been holding it for a while. I could see a screwy finish where Rollins wins. And then maybe get like Reigns costing Lesnar or some sort of kerfuffle and then make that a whole thing. But I could see Rollins bringing the Universal Championship to Monday. WWE Championship will go to Friday.
Okay, see, for me, I feel like Lashley has the better shot here of taking the title from Brock Lesnar. Again, via screwy shenanigans. I don't think if this title goes away, it'll be clean in either case. Could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I think it makes more sense for Lashley. I mean, you've got this over 500-day title reign with Roman Reigns. That title is the centerpiece title for this program. The Raw title, the world title, whatever you want to call it, which is kind of thrown into the mix. because Roman got sick. They didn't really have a plan for it. It was never like a long-term thing. And, we're still feeling the ripple effects of that. Big E is still, or is kind of back to where he was. Like the momentum really kind of.
Did we see him last night? We didn't even see him last night.
I don't think Big E was on Raw last night. I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
Not at all. So that's cool.
Yeah. So I think it makes more sense to find a way. I don't know if what you do with Lashley kind of coming out of that. I don't know who you pair him with, but I think that Roman and Paul or Roman and the Usos costing Paul and Brock that title, or maybe even Paul flips again. I don't know, man. Right? Like, I just think that it makes more sense to get that title off of Brock and keep going with what you built, the importance of that universal title that Roman Reigns is holding on to.
Yeah. So Lesnar loses and then goes after Reigns because he's upset. Maybe we at Mania we get Paul on a pole match and they fight over him.
I still love the idea of Roman and the Usos screw over Brock, and then Brock goes nutso and enters the Rumble, right? And then that's how he wins his way, into challenging Roman Reigns. The Rumble winner this year kind of doesn't seem as important because you're going to have this Elimination Chamber on the other side of it where you could still pick the other winner. So, I mean, I'm thinking really outside of the box for this year's Rumble winner. I don't think it's going to be expected, at least in my opinion. So,
yeah, I can see Lesnar winning it, and I love Lesnar in the Rumble. When he did that little run for like 15 and then got eliminated by McIntyre, that's one of my favorite Rumbles. I don't know. I love Lesnar.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's what I think could happen.
So, or just kind of trying to follow the tea leaves here. It looks like our good buddy Leo Pereira here saying he thinks Usos are going to cost Brock the title. Lance Davis Jr. saying Roman shouldn't lose the title. I don't feel like Seth deserves to be the one to dethrone Roman. Whoever beats Roman will be made into a star. And I'm with Lance there, right? Like, isn't the whole plan to keep the belt on Roman, have him go up against Brock at WrestleMania, and beat Brock at WrestleMania? Like, isn't that what this is? To show how dominant he is so that you can start to build to a match with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson maybe a year from them, after he's finished up with Brock definitively. And Brock can go back to doing whatever he wants, ripping the legs off of Moose and wearing their skin as hats and whatever he does,
Yeah, growing a sicker ponytail, all of that stuff.
Sicker. Yeah. He looks like a Tekken character.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. Yes. With the big sword on his chest? Yes, he does.
Right?
Absolutely.
They should just put him in Tekken, I think, would be fair.
It would be like, actually, what is it, Jack? The big robot? That's who he looks like. But, oh my goodness. I just lost it.
It's okay. We started talking about Tekken. I don't blame
I was like, video games. Wait, what?
Here, I'll move on. Maybe it'll come to you. All right.
It came to me right now. Okay, so let's say you're building it all the way to The Rock, but he's already a star. Who then beats Roman?
That's a great. I would hope it's somebody in-house. I would hope it's somebody they've been building to take that title off Roman. We're talking like a year and a half from now. What does Braun Breaker look like? Right? Is Randy Orton closing in on that, 16th, 17th title reign at that point? Are there stakes there for him? Like, where are we in a year and a half is a wide open question. But the story to get there over 18 months with the win over Brock and then building to this epic match with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I mean, this guy, after going through Brock and The Rock, he could lose that thing. He could lose that title on the Raw the night after Mania and kickstart a huge, gigantic star. I mean, that is some real long-term booking. And I think that's actually pretty close to what they're doing. And if it is, like, good on them. That's really smart. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And Lance here saying Braun Breaker. We also have him saying Walter, right? Antonio, Austin Theory, also another nod to Braun Breaker. People across the board seem to think this guy's the guy, Braun Breaker.
Yeah, everyone's messing with him. I was like, maybe we get another Kofi. Or, oh my God. Creed. Why can't I think of Xavier Woods? There we go. Sorry. My brain, drank too much coffee today. Xavier Woods, I think, would be a good upset to Roman.
Yeah. Sure.
Whenever he's back.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's certainly history there, but this guy's got the Rocket. I don't think anybody wants to get off the ride until you get Roman Rock, and I don't disrupt that guy's title reign. And look, Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar, and if he wants to put this guy over and wants to do business and sees what's going on here, I think he'll do it. I mean, again, like it's pro wrestling. This isn't like the UFC for him. It's a different. He gets it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I say to the moon. And as we're getting close to Mania here too, we were talking a bit about the Rumble. We got some new entrants on Raw last night. Kevin Owens, he's declared for the men's match, and then we got Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair. They're now official for the women's Rumble match. Do any of these additions change anything for you when you think about the Royal Rumble this year?
Yeah, it just brings me back to last week when I was saying, is this how it works? You just declare you're going to be in it? We don't have any matches, so you can get a spot, so it feels like it means something. You know what, Nick? I declare today, EJ Cameron declares that he's in the Royal Rumble.
Good. Grab your gear. Head down to St. Louis.
I'm gonna throw over 29. I also got into a math stickler mode watching because the Mysterios were like, the Mysterios are gonna eliminate 29 other men, and I was like, actually, it's 28. If it's the both of you, and I was like, you know what? I gotta relax.
Well, and we got Leo Pereira here saying Randy should win the Rumble in his hometown, and like we've talked about that on the show. They're in St. Louis. I think that makes a lot of sense, and if we saw it through. And, what we were talking about earlier, Bobby Lashley is the man to walk out a new champion at the Rumble. Well, that would set up a potential, Orton-Lashley confrontation, which is something we really haven't seen on.
It would be a fire match.
Right? And Randy brings a little cachet to that. Or a potential, like, does Randy kind of tease, I'm going to go after Roman Reigns? But I think that Randy, Bobby, that feels like a good Raw WrestleMania main event, and then you could do Brock and Roman on the other side. And I think people would be down for that.
I don't know. So I still think Big E is like Orton or Big E. I see Orton because it's his hometown, but Big E versus Lashley straight up clean is another match I think could go.
I feel like Big E's going to get Bryan. He's going to get wedged in there at the pay-per-view in between. He's going to become the triple threat aspect of this thing. He's not going to win the Rumble, but he's going to get one more shot, right, to kind of get in there. If not that, then I hope somebody of real importance comes along and just rocks him and sets up a program of some, blood feud note. But I my gut says he's going to get wedged in triple threat style to one of these matches. Probably, I think Randy, Big E, Bobby Lashley does not sound outside the box for me with that.
Doesn't sound bad.
Yeah. MCASP, this is WWE. Riddle's going to turn on Orton, maybe at the Rumble, right?
That's what I'm thinking. That's why I don't think he's going to win. Or if he wins, he turns on him. He's like, all right, get out of here. I'm back to, But he's like wearing a graduation cap and gown. He's having fun.
It was great to see. It was good. It was good to see him doing that, right?
Right.
I liked it.
I was like, I would have never thought. Never. Just seeing him up there with like a goofy cap, and I was like, all right. And the audience went nuts for it.
Crazy.
Like you have to ride that wave too. So like he should turn, but also maybe it'll hurt more when. But everyone's loving it.
Yeah, I don't know. Mike D here for whatever reason, super chat. Original Doink the Clown 2022 Hall of Fame Matt Porn. Sure. Put him in. Let him be in. Elsewhere in the world of pro wrestling news, good friend Mustafa Ali, he shared a video on Twitter earlier today featuring him practicing Bryan Danielson's cattle mutilation finisher. Ali's obviously great. It's known these requests his release that happened over the weekend. Daniel Bryan in WWE at the time was the guy who brought Ali to the main dance, so to speak, called him out, gave him that great SmackDown bout that really got momentum moving for Ali. Maybe run it back on a different turf, right? I think that's what Ali seems to be insinuating here when he puts out a video like this.
Absolutely. He's just for a while just been putting up like training videos, and it's wild how great he is and how we don't get to see it that often.
Right.
And the poor guy just like, it sucks because you see him trying and working and trying and working, and the things are working, but they just don't put the heat behind it. Retribution.
Bad.
Do you remember Retribution?
Well, and the thing for me, and the thing for me with Retribution was it was very disingenuous to who Ali is as a person. And I'm not saying that like you have to be your character. The Undertaker is not an undead zombie, right? But
Yeah.
over time, parts of Mark Callis's like actual human nature blended into what made the Undertaker great. And then everybody else you could think of is just mega extensions of themselves. Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, Mick Foley, great as mankind. But again, his natural self is what ultimately blossomed to people most connected with.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I hated about Retribution was it just was never genuine to Ali because it was a group of like radical, terrorists. They were throwing Molotov cocktails and stuff, right?
Anarchists, yeah, setting things on fire and destroy. Yeah.
It was right around the time that the Black Lives Matter summer was going on and everything. And I was just watching it, and I'm like, dude, Ali's a cop, a Chicago cop, right? Who's very outspoken with his charity and stuff. And I don't mind him being a heel, but this just ain't it as far as like how I envision him doing it.
Yeah.
Then you hear the story from Fightful about whatever Vince pitched to Ali to do instead of what Ali wanted to do, which I think it was going to be some kind of progressive unification type character, New America, whatever you want to call it. I'm just fascinated to hear from Ali, like how bad was it? Really.
I mean, because he's been trying. He's such a, as you said, such a great guy, dope guy, wrestles extremely well. And every time he gets close, something happens. He gets injured. We get Kofi Mania, yay, but he never got another chance. And every time he gets close, he never gets a chance, and they never paid that off.
Yeah.
Like, how do you have somebody like that, and you're like, oh, you're going to be a loser. You're going to lose all the time, and you're going to be a bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah. It ain't it. And, the thing with Ali is I think he's a victim of just like tripping, right? Because he got injured while they were doing Ali Mania, which became Kofi Mania for everybody who remembers, right? It was supposed to be Ali that was going into Mania. And for him to go down with injury, he came back. It was like, well, now he's just kind of lost. He's kind of forgotten. We went through trying to give you a push. It didn't work out. Not that it was his fault, right?
Yeah.
So very unfortunate. I know the guy works his ass off. I think it's I'm really interested to find out more from Ali about what his relationship with Vince was like in general, because we interviewed him over on Sean Waltman's podcast a couple months ago, and I remember him talking about how he goes right into Vince's office and it's like, hey, boss man, here's what I'm working on, right? That's how he got his 205 Live stuff going with Ricochet, was just like being very upfront with Vince and co about what he wanted to do. So I don't know. A lot like I think a Moxley or a Punk, I think just creatively burned out and frustrated. And I know not everybody can go to AEW, but I think that there is definitely a lane there, especially with the Bryan stuff. Bryan loves him, and I think there's just a lot of very positive reasons to bring Ali over to AEW.
I agree 100%. I think he'd be a great addition. He'd tear it up with everybody there and have awesome matches. Bryan Danielson and him can go for however long they need to. Him and Darby, just like the possibilities and like the cool matches that we would be able to see that we just didn't. I don't even think we got to see a fourth of how great he is.
No. And Esteban here saying Ali can go, has a great look, great person outside the ring. Problem is WWE only knows how to book people with a foreign name as cliche heels. And it's Vince, right? Like, I feel like it's been a while since there's just been like a Vince like kick, of like, it's, all the heat on Vince for the creative, but like it's him. It's a 70-plus-year-old man who is not fully evolved with the times, so to speak. And I can only imagine the frustration and the hand-wringing that goes on when his young writers are sitting around and he's laying out what he wants to do. I mean, it's got to be ridiculous, man.
Yeah. Don't forget, he's also old and white. So he's probably saying crazy things. And they're like, no. He's like, I'm going to tweet this. They're like, no.
He's very in his bubble. And I think that he has his culture, right? And it's not, again, evolved or changed. And it's, again, I just think about those young writers that are trying so hard to pitch stuff that they know is cool and hip. and is going to go with their audience, and it's going to be great for advertisers. And Vince is like, I need a camel. It's like, what are you talking about?
God, yeah.
You know?
My God, yeah. And you would think like maybe they can filter through like Stephanie or somebody else, but she's in that bubble too.
Dude, and the thing is, yeah, she is. Hunter was supposed to be the one that was being groomed to be that guy, and he just got like Jackass Forever kicked in the nuts over and over again by the company, right? Losing his position, watching his friends get released, watching his proteges get released. Just a rough time, man. Rough time.
Yeah.
Rough time. Well, speaking of rough times, Peter Avalon taking indie dates. Just for anybody who's wondering, he's still with AEW, according to Leva Bates, his fellow librarian. He's just looking for indie dates, and this is going to be interesting. I'm interested in this because I'm wondering how Tony's going to structure his deals now with people. You know, there's a whole thing with the AEW tiers, right? You get to sign a certain tiered kind of contract. Are these people that are just so kind of reliant on being on AEW TV and getting that exposure and rub? Are they going to be willing to take kind of next to nothing from AEW plus what they can make on the indies, and they're going to be cool with that? I'm wondering how low some of these contracts are going to go, I guess is what I'm wondering. If people just like we like you, we don't want to let you go, will you be willing to take X small amount of money just to stay attached, and we'll let you do some dark stuff, and then you can go out and try to hustle on the side elsewhere? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's not too bad of a deal, I guess, if you get that little shine and rub. You can go indie. Like if you do an indie thing, they probably have to pay you a little bit more because you're in AEW, and be like, well, I'm in AEW, so you saw my dark match.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. So something to think about, something to watch. I think it's interesting that the pay structure of AEW. I wonder as things go along, you don't want to see this massive amount of release. You don't want to have bad faith with people that you've invested in. I'm just wondering how Tony's going to navigate those waters as he puts together these news deals, So.
Yeah, unless it keeps it like a doggy door sort of situation. Like, like a lower tier, like, yeah, you come back. It's all good. We get it.
There's the forbidden door, and then there's the doggy door, right?
Exactly.
Like, the forbidden door has to be open, but the doggy door just is kind of always there. Like, if you could fit through the doggy door, you could just go back and forth all you want, man, right?
Exactly. If you can fit through, you're in and out.
And Vince is like, that's great. A bunch of little guys can probably fit through that doggy door.
Don't give him ideas. Don't.
All right. We're going to move to the mailbag. So the mailbag is more AEW talk today. By the way, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, EJ. You're wonderful. Talking the news. That whole forbidden door, doggy door thing, that was great. That was really funny. Made me laugh.
Here to tickle.
Here to tickle me on Tuesdays, and you tickled me, my friend. You pulled that 8-foot ostrich feather out of your butt and put it to my feet.
Why gotta be on my butt?
It's just funnier. It's just funnier if the feathers in your butt.
And
it makes a sound. Oh, this is why you watch, people. This is why you watch. This is why you listen, for this kind of banter. All right. Moving ahead. So today we have a poll question. We always have a poll question for the mailbag. At Wink Daily, WINC Daily. That's the account to follow if you want to vote in the daily poll. Today's poll question stems from the announcement by AEW today that Jon Moxley is going to be returning to AEW tomorrow night on Dynamite. Should be noted as well, and reconfirmed by the Observer that Cody is also going to be at Dynamite tomorrow night. And, I went on a pretty big kick yesterday about how I thought there was a chance Cody could maybe make a play back to WWE. I'm feeling different today. This one has gone back and forth. I read the Observer report where it was like, well, he was in Newark, but then a family thing came out, and then he had to fly out 2 weeks ago, and he hasn't been able to come back to physically be at an AEW TV taping yet in 2022. So is it like free agent just because he hasn't been able to be there and sign a contract? But that also doesn't make sense to me, because you could just like be scanned or faxed a contract and sign it and send it back. I would think. I've done a lot of contracts in my life. I think that's possible.
It's an email PDF.
What do you think? You think Cody's coming, going? What do you think's happening with him?
I think he's staying with AEW. I don't see him leaving. I saw a wild tweet that made me go, huh? And somebody said Cody, Jeff Jarrett, and Triple H all leave and form a new thing together. But that's extremely wild. I think he stays in AEW. It might be a doggy door situation if he has a open contract where he can travel and kind of do things and make other appearances. I don't think
Cody's using the doggy door. I think Cody has a key to the actual forbidden door.
Yeah. No, he has a revolving. He can do what he wants. I don't see him going to WWE. I think that would be a step back for him career-wise.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm like 50-50 today. Maybe
because I saw the poll yesterday and I was like, I could see him feuding with The Miz because they kind of have the same energy, snazziness now. But I don't know.
Snazziness.
Snazziness.
So today's poll question is not about Cody. It's about Moxley and who you'd like to see him feud with when he comes back tomorrow night. I listed Eddie Kingston, Bryan Danielson, Cody Rhodes, and somebody else. Over 250 votes here. 62.2 Bryan Danielson, 24.5 Cody, 7.7 for Eddie Kingston, and 5.6 for everybody else. Who do you want to see Moxley feud with when he comes back?
Personally, Bryan Danielson. I don't think Bryan has a feud right now. I could see Moxley coming back and cutting a promo and Bryan interrupting him, being like, man, you have some unfinished business. Ooh. And then there you go. Because the Shield, when they first came back, they fought against Bryan, Ryback, and Kane, right?
Yeah.
So there's some history there.
Yeah.
I think Cody would make sense too.
Cody would be I'm with Danielson though, and a good note here from our friend Imcast. Moxley Danielson was supposed to happen at Full Gear, right? And then it didn't when Moxley had to leave. So they already kind of wanted to move that direction. I think with Lance Archer coming into the picture here last week to kind of go after Hangman Page, who, by the way, got a lot of write-ins over on Twitter. So Bryan is out there right now kind of floating, doesn't really have a dancing partner after wrapping up with Hangman Page. I think Bryan going after, a reform Moxley here, not the worst way to go, and I think probably very, very probable.
Yeah, and it'd be good. It'd be great. They have some slam bangers. They're going to beat the mess out of each other, and we're all going to be happy.
I'm excited to see what Moxley looks like because, when people clean up like this, they get sober. Traditionally, the puffiness of alcohol goes away, right? And your eyes can clear up a little bit. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what a more healthy Jon Moxley. I bet he's jacked. I bet he is 10 to 15 pounds minimum bigger than we last saw him, would be my guess.
Maybe even leaner. Now I'm like, oh, is that what's causing my puffiness?
I think that it is. It causes.
You're supposed to say what puffiness, EJ? Wow, Nick.
No, dude. Wow. It's if we stop drinking, EJ, I think that we'd be a little more svelte. I'm just gonna put it out there, but
I just try to balance it out with DDP yoga every so often.
Maybe after we get this whole pandemic thing under control, I'll go back to not drinking as much. But it helps right now. It helps a lot.
It's helping a lot. Yep.
It helps a lot. So, all right, we're going to wrap it there. I am going to be back tomorrow. I'll be joined by Brian Wool. We're going to have all of or part of Raj's conversation with Diamond Dallas Page. He went an hour with DDP earlier today. So he's also kind of he's a little under the weather. So didn't get to fully talk about what the execution plan is going to be, but I would expect some DDP tomorrow on the show. If you like the Wrestling Inc. Daily, 5-star rating comments on our iTunes page really, really helps us out. Write about how funny you thought that doggy door bit was. Take 2 minutes of your time. Great bit. Good times. Go put that over there. Support WrestlingInc.com, all the socials, and, of course, come back tonight after NXT for the Wrestling Inc. podcast. EJ, what do you want to put over before we wrap up today?
I'm going to put over, keep being kind, people. Be nice. Enjoy your loved ones. Say hi to people. Follow me at EJ_Cam19 on Twitter. Eat a bagel. Eat half a bagel if you're trying to get the swelling to go down, as I just learned about my puffiness.
Yeah, dude, it's not the bagel's fault, right? It is It's the beer for me. Largely for me, the beer. That's
the liquid bread. Actually, I'm gonna put you on something. Have I told you about croissant bread? I'm gonna plug that croissant bread. They have it at Whole Foods. They might have it at other places. It looks like a loaf of bread, sliced, but it's croissant.
Dude, that sounds like a way to give me a heart attack. Croissants are like 90% butter, dude.
Yeah, I know. You're supposed to eat one slice as a serving, so that's the hard part. But
what are you? I'm like,
delicious.
I'm trying to. Hey, you want to be less puffy? Here's a stick of butter. Eat up, fatty. Eat up.
I mean, don't eat it all the time like I do every day, but
I'm gonna eat it like a goose. I'm gonna just be like,
with a funnel.
Get in there. All
Come
right.
on.
We're done. I am at Nick_Hausman over on Twitter. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will talk to you tomorrow. And remember, if you winked, you didn't miss it.